Before we get started today with our guest, I'm just going to talk to you about a product. You may or may not know my story. I'm an herbalist. I owned a health food store and a wellness brand before we moved to New Zealand. I've spent years helping people get the toxins out of their lives and using natural remedies and different nature based products. But most people do forget about the clothing we wear. I know when the kids were little, it's like all organic cotton and merino wool and all natural fibers. And I have a friend here in New Zealand that just ordered us some organic cotton underwear. And so everything counts. And so today I'm talking to you about a men's line, and most performance shirts are basically plastic, polyester, BPA, all endocrine disruptors, and it's just not good for their hormones or their testosterone. And so having that kind of stuff sit on your skin all day is just not good. Hyper Natural does it completely differently. Zero plastic, zero toxic chemicals. The shirts are made from a special cotton, which is a natural fiber from crab shells, and it's actually odor resistant, even if the crab freaks you out. And my favorite part is that the fabric is also made from jade stone. So here living in New Zealand, that one made me smile because Panamu, greenstone, or jade as you know it, it's very special here in New Zealand. Anyone who's held a piece knows it's always cool to the touch. So Hypernatural spun the same property into a fabric. Their hypercool jade technology naturally lowers our body temperature by 3 to 5 degrees when it's hot. So nature already solved the problem, as it often does, and no plastic is required. So if you want to detox your man's wardrobe or your wardrobe, they have beautiful men's shirts. So head to hypernaturalstyle.com and use my code AshleyNZ or AshleyNZ for the Kiwis and get an exclusive 16% off. So there you have it. Made better by nature. There we go. Welcome back to Moving to New Zealand. Today I have a guest named Karl, and he's been living in New Zealand quite some time. So we'll get started. Hi, Karl. How are you?
Go by yourself.
Good. So how long have you been living in New Zealand?
Going on 11 years. I moved here in June of 2015, Christchurch.
And you came right to Christchurch?
Correct. I haven't lived anywhere else other than Christchurch.
Nice. And what state did you move from?
I moved from Oregon. I had lived in Portland, Oregon for about 13 years.
Okay, nice. Do you find any similarities between that area of the US and here?
Yes, very similar. I mean, if you flip New Zealand and if you put it in the Northern Hemisphere, it's kind of Oregon would be at very similar. Like Central Canterbury looks like Oregon. Parts of the North Island, like Pataudru, with the pine trees, kind of look like Oregon. Very similar. Some of the countryside, yeah, reminds me of Oregon.
Yeah. I
Central Otago looks like Central Oregon, so very similar.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people from the West Coast of the US, compare New Zealand to that area of the US a few times, and yeah, because it's definitely not like the East Coast. Oh,
No,
but yeah.
cor- yeah, correct. I grew up in Michigan, so definitely New Zealand doesn't look like Michigan at all. But or parts of Oregon, yeah, I'm driving around for work up in the North Island and parts of the South Island remind me very much of Oregon.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so it even though you've been here 11 years, some of this, wouldn't be relevant particularly to people trying to move here now, but we'll still just cover it. Um So what visa pathway did you move or come here on when you first came?
I came here. I was married to a Kiwi, so I got
Mhm.
married before I came here a few months prior. So I came on a 2-year work visa,
Mhm.
And after my first year of my work visa, I became a resident, and then the pathway to permanent resident, and then citizenship. But basically, I came on a work visa,
Yeah, okay.
and it helped. I wasn't a part. My wife at the time was she was a New Zealand citizen, so that helped.
And when the 2 of you came back here, um, did you just come along with your suitcases? Did you ship stuff over from the life you had already started in the US? Did you have pets that you relocated? Anything like that?
First we had, 2 dogs, so we had
Yeah.
to ship them over. It was a little delayed because one of the dogs, the blood work didn't come back, so New Zealand said, "You can't ship the dog until the blood work matches what we want." So we had to
Yeah.
wait 6 months. So, yeah, we brought 2 pets with us, mostly suitcases, and we did ship, some boxes. I think we had maybe, like, a quarter of a container.
Okay.
No furniture really, just mostly clothes that we couldn't pack in suitcases. So we shipped in boxes and it took about a month,
Yeah.
maybe a month and a half or so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the shipping has gone up quite a bit because
Yeah.
even with me coming 5 years ago and I looked into quotes for shipping again recently, and I'm like, "Ah, it's really increased." And also with the dogs, bringing them, do you remember when, um, the blood work was declined? Was that really stressful, or did you have, like, a plan B?
We kinda had a plan B because my uh wife at the time, she had a pretty good community of friends
Yeah.
back in Portland. So we didn't want to separate them because it was cheaper to send them both at the same time instead of
Mm,
separately. Got
okay.
kind of a discount. So some of her friends just watched.
Yeah.
Maybe was it 6? I think it was 6 months because we left in, maybe it's 3 to 6 months. And but the quarantine coming over here was only, I think, 2 weeks instead of a month. I think it used to be a month back in the day, like a while ago, like 15 or so years
Oh,
ago. But at the time, 11 years ago, the quarantine was only 2 weeks. It was
okay.
kind of expensive back then. It was like 8 grand, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it was 2 weeks when we brought our dog over 5 years ago as well, so, wow,
Yeah.
a month, that's a long time.
Yeah, bu it was 2 weeks for me, but I think prior to that, I think my ex had said at the time, because she's really into dogs, I think it would have been longer potentially, but it was only 2 weeks, so which
Yeah,
was good.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you got here and, you were trying to meet people, I guess you were able to meet people because you had that local connection, um, or did you run into any, was it challenging to make new connections, new friends, new communities for you?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge. I mean, when you're older, it's always a little bit of a challenge, and, yeah, I had a young son who was only 3 months old at the time, so I met a few people through my partner my wife at the time. Some of
Yeah.
her, partners on some of her, some of her friends'
Yeah.
partners, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
worked out, and then I met a few people at work, like 2 people at work. Work was a little bit different because different culture, and I met a few people through internations, and this was well before COVID, so there was a group of expats around the country, and we would have meetups maybe twice a month, and we'd go to dinner and then go out for a drink afterwards, so I met people through there, but it was a little bit different than how it was, like, in the United States to meet people. It was a little bit more, I wouldn't challenging, but just different culture, it was
Yeah.
just different. Christchurch is a little bit different when it comes to meeting people, when you're not from here, when you're not born and bred here, so it was a little bit different, but overall, it was okay.
Yeah. I actually was just before we got on the podcast, I was talking to someone who was a Christchurch person, but, uh, basically a job that I was going for, I didn't get, and then they said they hired someone that already worked there and knew the whole team and all of that, and I said, "Oh, just an outsider trying to break into the Christchurch club again," like, that's
Yeah.
just I feel like that so often, um, and so that just happened right before we got on this call, so it was yeah,
Yeah,
fresh in my mind.
there's definitely a club here, and when I was going to donations, uh, all people from all over the world said the exact same thing. It didn't matter what country they were from. I met people from Europe, South America, Africa, Asia, and we all said the same thing, same stories that to get into certain people's circle in Christchurch is a little bit challenging. It's
Mhm.
not as how it was like back in the States. If you're new to a job, everyone's I mean, just generalizing, but most people are pretty open. If you like sports or something, people are, hey, let's go to a sports bar and watch some basketball on a Wednesday night or something.
Yeah.
Here is a little bit different. I had belonged to a touch rugby team at work, and I thought like, oh, this would be a good way to meet some friends, and it just it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wait, so what is Internations? I don't know what that is.
yeah, it still goes on now. It's just online. It's just a each city has like a club,
Mhm.
and my ex I found out that my ex-wife, partner, and she told me about it, and just people would just get together and just have a dinner and then just have a drink or something afterwards. So
Oh,
before COVID, you used to get like 60, maybe 50 people, and then COVID
wow.
happened, and then when they didn't allow people to come in who weren't permanent residents or citizens, then that kinda diminished the group. But beforehand, it was pretty good. It got me mostly I met a few friends through there, so it was good.
Oh,
Just
cool.
and it was a good time. It was good where people from could just talk about the experience in New Zealand without being judgmental and without coming off as being like not negative, but just everyone didn't have an issue with what someone said. Like it wasn't, no one's
Yeah.
gonna say like, "Oh, go back home," because we're all from somewhere different. So it was
Yeah,
nice.
that is nice. Um, so had you visited New Zealand before you came here to move here?
No, my first time was when I arrived. I did a little bit of like, I mean, I knew where New Zealand was at. I knew the history of the colonialism. I knew it was a
Yeah.
colony, but I didn't know a lot about New Zealand. Like, I didn't even know it was two islands until like a few months before I moved here, and I started doing some research. And I was like, oh, okay, reading up. Oh, two islands, but yeah, I never visited before. No.
Mm. When I came here in 2005 for the first time, I actually landed, looked at a world map on the wall, like, it was just a big map on this whole yeah, just a massive map, and I was looking at it, and I actually said, "Huh, that's where I am?" And I was 21, but yeah, I yeah, didn't even know where I had flown to really in the middle of the ocean until I looked at that after arrival. So, uh, I mean, yeah, that's my fault. But um okay, so had never been here. So when
Right.
you arrived, what was one of the biggest surprises you had?
Uh, Probably it. The biggest surprise, I would probably say things kind of going a little slow, things closing really early. Wasn't really used to that. Like that was kind of a shocker. Like if
Yeah.
you wanted to go somewewhere, not necessarily a supermarket, but say like an auto parts store or something, everything closed at 5:30. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second. Even the mall too, like because I live over by Northlands Mall. I'm like, why is the mall closing at 6 p.m. on a
Yeah.
Tuesday? So I would say that was not too different because again, it's still Western culture. Other than driving on the other side of the road, it wasn't. Uh, I guess the street names would change like 3 times within like 2 kilometers when you go through a different suburb. That was
Oh,
kind of
yes.
different. It's
Yeah.
like, why is this changing so many names? Uh, no, I would probably say things closed a little bit early, but nothing was like too shocking because
Yeah.
it's still Western culture. I mean, had malls and supermarkets and things of that nature. So it wasn't I wouldn't say I was just blown away shocked. It was yeah, I wouldn't say that shocked.
Do you think, well, you mentioned you had the 3-month-old when you came,
Yes.
and then you had another child while living here.
Yes. 3 years later. Yeah.
And so you grew up in the US and everything. And so, and obviously things have changed everywhere because, technology and everything that's just changed in the world. But even with that aside, what do you feel like it's like raising kids here?
I think just from my perspective, I think raising kids is pretty good here.
Yeah.
Um, it's easy to get around. Like my kids play sports, so with Christchurch not being a very large city, and especially on the weekends, it's easy to get around town. And the schools they're pretty good. I mean, they it just you don't have to worry about like at home back in the states, like all those different drills and worry about like your child being shot or something or just things of that nature. And I think they really teach kids to be proactive, be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Um, they teach the kids to get out. Like my son's gone to camping, he's going skiing, he's learned how to surf. So they do both, I believe. They teach kids, the schoolwork and also getting out the nature side too, and
Yeah.
doing things out and either going for hikes, camping, going swimming in the ocean, skiing. So I think it's pretty good to raise kids. It's pretty relaxed too. It's not really they my kids don't really get like per se like a report card like I did back in the 80s. We got A, B, C, D, E, F, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Here you get like a overall report, how you're progressing. They changed it a little bit. Again, I'm an expert how they changed it. But overall pretty relaxed. And yeah, they want the kids to do well, but I don't it's not tons of pressure on them. Not
Yeah. No, they
because
definitely
my
don't.
kids are still just year 7 and year, 4, so but
Oh,
overall,
okay.
pretty good to raise kids here, yeah.
Yeah. I love that school camp that they do, in primary school. Maybe
Mhm.
they do it in high school too. I don't know. My daughter did it once in high school, but, have you ever gone on that school camp?
No, I haven't, I always have to work, but,
Yeah.
good work-life balance, but I haven't been able to do
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's funny you say the work-life balance because, um, it's something that people really sell New Zealand on, and a lot of people really find that to be so much better here than the US. And my husband, he worked in the US for like 15 years and now we're back here. And he's like, I don't really think my work balance is at all better. Um, he's not on the road, so that's the difference. He was on the road a lot back there. But
Mhm.
when it comes to like the given work day and having freedom to like go to a kid's game or pick them up early or anything like that, he doesn't really have it. But maybe that's just his industry. Um, and I've
Yeah.
had both. I've had places that are like, "No, no, super rigid, no flexibility, can't work from home," here in Christchurch, and then other places that do have more flexibility, so maybe it's just organization based and not so much
Yeah, I
true.
think
Yeah.
potentially because 'cause I've been lucky, I've had really only worked 2 jobs here, and both have been pretty flexible, so I
Yeah.
think the
That's
work-life
good.
balance I mean, yeah, I do put the hours in, but there is flexibility for the job that I have. So I
Yeah.
think I believe you're right. I mean, I think it just depends on what job you work for and what your
Mhm.
role is and what the culture of the company. Some companies, are very rigid, and others do allow the flexibility. I mean, it is nice that here you do have 4 weeks annual leave, so that's great. And then I know the company I work for, you can take it all at once, and no one frowns upon it. I mean, unless he's, like, during our peak time, but most people I work with, they take 4 or 5 weeks at a time because many people have family, that are overseas, um, some over in Europe, so I believe that's been pretty good that you do get 4 weeks and you get the sick time. So you're
Yeah.
right, that helps, and I think overall, I mean, just having a 4 weeks annual leave is a bonus that you don't have to be at a company forever. Like, you get it right away, like, you don't have to stay for a company 10 years to get your 4 weeks annual leave, everyone receives it, full-time employee, so I think that's pretty fair, and I like that.
Yeah, and just a note for the listeners too, annual leave is vacation time or
Vacation.
yeah, paid time off. They don't call it vacation here, they call it holidays too, but yeah, and everyone gets it. Like, no matter if you're a server at a restaurant
Exactly.
or, a lawyer or even just, a clerk at a store, it doesn't matter. Small business, big business, every business, if you're a full-time employee, and even if you're a part-time employee,
You still get
you
quite a bit.
you accrue money towards the leave, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I do contracts, I accrue every hour that I work, I accrue, um, leave leave time or leave money at least that I get paid out. Yeah.
And then the sick
It's
too. And then the sick time you get, what, 10 days a year, but you capped out at 20. So that's good also that you
yeah,
do get a good amount of, sick time that if you're sick or you have to take care of a child or partner, which is good.
yeah. But you don't start with your sick days, I think you have to work
No,
6
you have to
years or no,
accumulate.
not 6 years, 6 months, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um, okay, and so about other things about New Zealand that people talk about a lot, as silly as it is the food, like, what you like here and what do you miss from the US? Like, what you miss from home?
The f I'll start with what I like. I think the food is probably depends what you want. I mean, there's unhealthy food here if you wanna eat unhealthy, but there's healthy food here, and I like that even though we're paying quite a bit when we do go out to eat, the portions are smaller, so it helps you to eat less. So I feel even though you
Yeah,
it's not it's still expensive here, but the portion size, I think the food is it feels I believe that's healthier, more natural if you
yeah,
want to do it that way. I mean, you can do it in the States too, naturally too, but I think that here it's a little healthier. So, but there are unhealthy options here too. But overall, I think the food's pretty good, pretty healthy. If you want to eat healthy, I think it's
mhm,
pretty easy to eat healthy. Um, so I like that. Smaller portions. It just
yeah,
I like the smaller portions because you're just not gonna you just train yourself that you don't have to eat as much. Um, what I miss probably at home the most, probably good Mexican that's not super expensive. Because
yeah,
seems like here Mexican it's better than what I can do. I know some Americans trash it, but I've gone out and it's pretty good. I mean, it's good enough. It's better than I
yeah,
could do. I mean, I don't
yeah,
have time to do all the things to do to get it. But at home, I lived in Portland, so Portland, Oregon had a lot of good Mexican restaurants, very authentic, and they weren't that super expensive, the
mhm,
food trucks. So,
yeah,
but then there's some good options here in Christchurch, like Riverside, Little High, and good restaurants here. So I think the food here is pretty good too. There's a lot of good options here to eat in Christchurch when you go out to dinner. So
yeah,
and then if you want to cook yourself, again, I think like the meat here is not as fatty, so it's pretty good. I think it's just
yeah.
overall uh, maybe because there's less being produced, so they take their time but I overall think it's pretty healthy here,
Well,
if you
and
wanna be
we
healthy.
our cows are out roaming in the
Yeah, it's
grass and
grass-fed,
not like
everything's
factory
grass-fed.
cows, yeah,
Yeah, and the chicken here looks like normal chicken breast. It doesn't look like it's have a bunch of hormones pumped into it. Like the
yeah,
chickens most things I work in agriculture company, so people take pride in the grass-fed and having, high quality, um, animals, and what they eat, so that's good, and most
yeah.
of things grass-fed, so it's good.
Yesterday, I took my kids skiing, and it started snowing like crazy at the top of the mountain, so we were driving down in the snow, and then you reach a certain level, and it turns to rain, and then we go, like, literally within 20 minutes, we're just in this blizzard, and then we're back down to the main road, and it's all green grass and cows.
Yeah,
So it's like, you don't well, maybe you get that in the West Coast, but we don't get that contrast in the Northeast where I'm from. Like, if it's snowing, it's snowing. It's not green grass at the same time. Yeah.
correct.
So that
Same in
was
Michigan where I grew up,
kinda
yeah.
cool. Yeah. Um, are there any sports or hobbies that you do here that are unique to New Zealand or, you know? Things that you couldn't really do back home that you can do here easier?
Um, no, not I wouldn't say no, I mean, the gym's a gym. I
Yeah.
go to gym, play a little bit of golf, I think like a lot of golf courses in Christchurch and pretty affordable, pretty easy to do that, easy to get around. I wouldn't say no type of different hobbies that
Yeah.
just unique here, um,
But is
that
golf
can't do back
cheaper
home.
here? Is it cheaper to play here?
I didn't really play a lot back in the States, but
Okay.
there's some good courses here that aren't that expensive. Like, you can play for, like, $10, $15 for 9 holes some places. Some
Oh,
places yeah, so it's pretty
that sounds cheap.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty inexpensive, and there's quite a few golf courses in Christchurch, so for people who like to golf, and then you can pretty much golf year-round other
Yeah.
than even the wintertime, as long as it's not raining, you can golf year-round. And no, the gym's a gym. Like if you into fitness, there's quite a few options. There's basic places to go, and there's premium places. Whatever
Yeah.
someone chooses to do, there's options for that person when
Yeah.
it comes to fitness.
That's true. I've been to, like, I forget what it's called. Fitness. I don't know, the one that's like 7 or $8 a week or something
Oh,
like
like
that.
City Fitness or
Yeah,
Snap
City Fitness.
Fitness.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when I first came, I went there just because that's the one I saw everywhere, and it was a good place to just start, like, the week that I moved here. I was like, "I need a gym to get out of my house and, just have that outlet." And then over time, I've gotten a little more bougie with my gyms, but,
Yeah.
whether I should or not, I don't that's up for debate, but, yeah, and plus, like, gyms can be a place for community. Do you find that, or do you just, like, go and work out and go?
I pretty much just go and work out and go because I go at lunchtime. There's a gym across
Oh,
the
yeah,
street from where I
yeah.
work. So yeah, the only thing difference here compared to gyms at home, I will say, like I used to belong to LA Fitness, and now like LA Fitness I belong to had a full like a basketball court. You don't really
Oh,
have that here. They, yeah, the gyms are more basic here compared to at home. I will say, like LA Fitness is basic at home, but a
yeah,
lot of extras that you
okay,
just don't have here. You have to have like a premium membership somewhere, like a premium gym. So I say that's probably a big difference. Like, there's no full court basketball, there's no sauna or like a City Fitness, things of that nature, but
yeah,
a gym's a gym, yeah.
yeah. Um, okay. Do you do a lot of stuff outdoors? New Zealand's kind of known for, their hiking and tramping and all this, like, outdoorsy stuff. Do you do any of that?
No, not really, I'm pretty busy on the
Yeah.
weekends, so I really don't that's one thing I haven't really taken advantage of the outdoorsy, like, I'll run around Hagley Park in the summertime or, late spring when it's warm, but at least you have the option's always there because it's pretty close, and some
Yeah.
good tracking that you can do, but no, I haven't really taken advantage of it.
Do you run? Or you're a runner?
Yeah, I used to run a lot. I mean, I just go to Hagley Park for a
Yeah.
run, or I just kinda run the treadmill, but
Yeah.
that's a good place to run, Hagley Park.
I know, and it's flat. That's why I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, nice and flat. And it's always busy during in the mornings, even after work in the summertime. I see people
Yeah.
running constantly, so
And if you don't wanna worry about crossing the road, you can just stay, like, north like, south or north and just
exactly.
yeah, and zigzag through it, so that's why I like it. It doesn't you don't have to worry about crossing the streets and stuff. Um, okay, so you talked about you came here with your wife and you're no longer together, and so has that been hard being in a different country away from your family and, like, your people back home, or have you adjusted with that?
I've adjusted because when I was living in Portland, and if I would've stayed in Portland, I wouldn't have had any family there either. My
Oh,
parents
okay.
live in, Jackson, Mississippi, and my other siblings live in the South, so I didn't have any
Oh,
family
so you're all spread
in
out
Portland.
anyway.
Exactly. So, living here without family, it was kinda easy to adjust.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, some adjustments, but I would have been the same way if I was in Portland, so that really didn't
yeah,
was no really effect.
yeah. That makes sense. also just from other people I've talked to, I feel like women, um, might have a harder time away from family, like mothers and stuff than, men do. And that's just my anecdotal evidence of women that I know, but, including myself. Like, I miss my parents a lot more than my husband missed his when he was in America
Yeah.
versus now that I'm here, yeah. Um, okay, so now you are dating in Christchurch, would you say?
I have a partner. Well,
Oh, okay.
I
But
did
you
date
went
after. I
did you
did date
go
after I separated,
yeah, was
for a
that
little bit.
different? Um, like, was that do you think that's different in New Zealand than in the US?
Um, well, I was married for, like, 9 years, so I was on the dating scene for a
Yeah.
while.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, so
uh
you were, like, married before the apps, and so when you came back out
yeah, then the apps. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was single before I got married, the only really online dating was I think I was on Match.com,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, that's
that's
it.
different than the apps. It wasn't, as you know, there's no swiping or anything back on Match.com. But when I did get back in the days, yeah, it was a little bit different, but not too different because it's still Western culture. I mean, there's subtle differences of Kiwis to
Yeah,
Americans. There are some differences, but it wasn't like vastly different. I guess the
yeah,
only yeah, the only thing is just dating in Christchurch, being being a man of color. I'm a Black American, Black not American, but being Black is wasn't too. I didn't think it was too different. I mean, yeah, it's different, but wasn't like I wouldn't say I had any struggles or anything. People are people, so overall.
yeah. Well, it's, like, super diverse city as far as different nationalities. I know my kid's primary school has, like, 54 nationalities,
Mhm.
which is crazy because where we came from in New Hampshire, there were maybe, like, 2 nationalities, and that means, like, kids born in those countries,
Yes.
not like my dad's Italian or, my roots, but I mean, like, so here at their primary school, there are kids from actually came from 52 different countries um, have parents at home speaking different languages, stuff like that. And so it is a diverse city in that way, but there's not a lot of black people here.
No, I've it's more people than when I first moved here, like
Okay.
11 years ago, so it's more diverse. But I have a few Black American male friends. I have one good friend. He moved here about 5 years ago, and
Okay.
then I just met another person during the Australia USA game, the soccer game, football
Wait.
game a few weeks ago.
Oh. Oh,
So
okay. So the one before the one where
yeah,
I met you at. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So I met one when I went to Duck Central and watched the game uh, one Saturday. I think it was like 7 a.m. in the morning, something like that.
Oh,
And but no, there's not a lot of. I wouldn't say there's not a lot of black people. Period. The mostly you see, if you do see black people, they're from like one of the African nations.
yeah.
So
The
but
the families in our school are from Nigeria.
yeah.
Um and yeah, and so yeah, that was surprising to me, but I have had listeners from America who are thinking about moving here and have messaged me through the podcast and said, "Can you find a Black American to interview, to give their perspective and everything?" And so, yeah, thank you. So for the listeners, I was at the USA Bosnia soccer game last week where a bunch of Americans met to watch the game at a bar in the middle of the day at noontime, and I met Karl there, and I said, "Oh, I need you to come on my podcast," and so you've been so kind and willing to do it, and I appreciate that.
Oh, that's
Um,
fine.
Because we do also have a lot of females, so it's just nice to have different perspectives and views on, the experience here. So, okay, so you went through that and so do you think that this is your forever home?
Well, probably until my youngest
Yeah.
graduates from high school, because
Yeah,
he's
he's
only
young.
8, so I
Yeah,
still have another about 10
you have a
years,
long
so
time.
after that,
Yeah.
see what happens.
But
Um,
you've built a life here.
yes, yeah, I mean, I pretty much I've lived here, going on 12 years, so a few more years, it'd be the most amount of years I live somewhere outside of Detroit where I grew up. The
Yeah.
most was Portland, and then this is the 3rd.
Yeah.
So, it feels like home. I was still, not being born and raised here, but I have a life here, my kids are here, so and the day-to-day life, I don't really feel that far from home sometimes. Sometimes I
Yeah.
feel just like a 3-hour, 4-hour flight. I don't know how you feel about it sometimes, but it doesn't feel that far. Sometimes, most of the times I don't. Just used to it. Been over a decade, so I'm pretty much
Yeah.
used to just life here and like getting places, you just adapt. But
Yeah.
again, it's still Western culture. Like I haven't traveled a lot in the world, but I've been to some Asian countries. When you go to like the Singapore, places like that, you know you're somewhere different. But
Mhm.
New Zealand is still, other than, driving on the side of the road, it's still Western culture. And then there's a lot of, like, if you're driving to work or just driving around, I mean, most of the rail stations, like 80% of the song, 90% of the songs are American. So it's not as if
Yeah.
you're hearing a different country songs.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty adjusted.
Same. Yeah. Um, yeah, when I first came here, I did feel, like, trapped and stuck because it was so far away,
Mhm.
but then I've gone home so many times that now I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just a day away. I'm just a day away," and that sounds like a long time to people who aren't used to it,
Yeah.
and I know people who will not come here because they're so intimidated by that flight
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the long travel, and it's like, it's really not that bad. Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
it's not like being on a flight from Boston to LA, but for 12 hours because those planes do suck, and they're not comfortable, and they're not set up for a long haul flight. So,
Exactly.
you know, you're not getting your free wine to help you go to sleep
Exactly.
and stuff like that. So, how often do you go back to the US?
I've gone back actually. I've gone 2 years in a row,
Okay.
the last 2 years. I'm not going back this year. I'll go back next year. I know I would only go back I would go back every 2 years, but then COVID happened, and then, as you know, we were stuck, and I didn't wanna
Yeah.
do the quarantine thing, so I didn't go back for 5 years. That was the
Yeah.
longest that I didn't
Yeah.
go back. I try to go back every other year. I
Yeah.
mean, it does cost. I have 2 kids to take too, so,
Yeah.
but it like you said before, it's you do it enough times, a 12-hour flight or 13 hours if you go to Houston, it's not too bad. Before you know it, you're 6 hours in, then you have another 6 hours to go. I mean, I know people who go to Europe all the time, and they have, like, 2 days to get there. For us, so it's just
Yeah.
not even really a day, so yeah, but I try to go back every other year,
And
so
when you bring your kids with you,
yes.
and what do they think? Because 'Cause they're so used to everything here. What do they think of the US of A?
Uh, they've gone back. They travel other countries too, so they like it. I mean,
Yeah.
they like the big cities. They've been to China, Singapore. They've been to a lot of Hong Kong. So they've been to a lot of cities. They just comment on the big buildings, like we're
Yeah.
in Houston to go to a soccer game. Like Houston, they're big, and they come back to Christchurch. Oh, building's so small. They're tiny, but they're just yeah, they like it. They like going back to the states. They feel. I mean, they're half American, so they
Are
they
they proud
they
of
adjust.
that? Do you think? Like, do they be like, "Oh, my dad's American, or I'm half American?"
I think some a little bit, but maybe not too much. I mean, sometimes their friends at school they say certain things American, like they'll say garage or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They'll say garage. I don't know if they say garage, but I don't really say garage. But yeah, they say a few things American, and then even my partner said that she's from Australia, and she said that she can hear some of the American accent and their Kiwi accent, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's
a few
fun.
things. But then when they
Yeah.
go back to the States, 'cause my parents are older, I have to kinda decipher what they say because they had the Kiwi accent, and then my parents like, "What'd they say? What was that?" Or so the
Well,
way they say my brother's name, Kevin, I say Kevin,
oh,
so
yeah. Yeah.
but yeah. Hey,
That's funny. Well, my daughter's name is Annika, which is this a Swedish name, and it sounds like Hanukkah.
yeah,
Um, but everyone here says Anika because that's
yeah,
the New Zealand name of it. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of them here. There's tons of Anikas. So she just goes, that's what they call her. And I'm like, no, 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 no. But she doesn't correct them. And so I'm like, I wouldn't have named her and spelt it that way if I knew we are going to live here. But well, it's fine. Um, yeah, it is funny. Actually, my husband said he could never go through a drive through in the US and get the right order. They never knew what he was saying,
yeah,
and especially coming from New Hampshire where there isn't a whole lot of diversity and stuff. Um, yeah, people were always like, "What? I can't understand a thing he says."
yeah,
But yeah, now I can understand Kiwi, so I feel like that's a pretty big improvement for me, um,
yeah. Like, I don't
living
hear the
amongst
accent
them.
anymore. I don't really get a Kiwi accent 'cause I hear my kids all the time and at work and just I it just takes when I hear an American accent or a Canadian, it takes me a second to
Yeah,
decipher which one's which, but because I don't really hear 2 American accents in the wild too much, other than we do the meetups, or the
yeah,
times there are a bunch of Americans around, but I don't really don't hear too many Americans other than when it's tourist time, then you hear all the tourists and then, okay,
yeah,
they're really American.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do find it, really interesting that when we do have the American meetups and just, like, everyone's still so unique and different and, coming from different areas and backgrounds and stuff, but then that one commonality just brings everyone together and everyone's off and blabbing and chatting and yeah, I
Yeah.
do always find that an interesting experience
Yeah.
when that happens.
Right, same here.
Um, and yeah, because I'm like, I probably wouldn't be friends with this person necessarily or hang out with them or like find them in the world, if it wasn't for just our shared country of origin.
Correct.
So that's really funny. And I think I was telling you before that a lot of my friends in New Zealand are also immigrants, whether they're from the US or Asian countries or European countries or anywhere else, but they're mostly not from here.
Yeah, same here. All my really close friends are all from other countries. Like,
Yeah, that's so funny.
most of my friends are all from other countries and just so, oh, yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, I think, yeah, just a shared experience. Even my other friends, my friends are one of my good friends. He's Italian, and most of his friends are not Kiwi. They're from other countries outside New Zealand. So I think just yeah, I think this is how it is. I think maybe it's just Christchurch thing or just but
Yeah. Um, do you find having kids, young, like primary school age kids, um, help? Like, do you meet people through their stuff since they're younger and they kind of still need a parent involved?
I mean, well, I have conversation with the parents because my kids play cricket, so cricket's a
Yeah.
little bit slower than baseball, so you have time to chat. Very friendly, everyone's friendly, having been on the same team.
Yeah.
My oldest son been in the same team for about 4 years, so I wouldn't necessarily have been friends, but just very cordial and just have
Yeah.
conversations while the game is going on, but I haven't really met any friends, that way.
I still haven't watched a cricket game.
Yeah.
I heard
It's
it's very
actually
slow.
T20 was only 20 overs, is a little bit shorter game. It's actually
Okay.
pretty good, and I watch more cricket than I've ever thought I'd watch because my kids they love cricket, and, so yeah, I've gone to some cricket games, international
Yeah,
games. It's been pretty entertaining. Yeah.
that's cool. I'm gonna put it on my list of New Zealand things to try. Although I
Yeah.
guess it's big in India as well,
Yeah, it's
right?
been big in India, Australia, South Africa. few European countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Yeah, pretty big. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, when you first came here and well, I don't know, like, let's talk about houses and living here and stuff. Is
Mhm.
your house warm?
My first house was not. I moved in. My ex had a former state house,
Yeah.
and it was cold. I grew up in Michigan, like, you grew up in New Hampshire, so I was used to central heating, and I come
Yeah.
here, and it's like, it's not outside is not super cold compared to Michigan, Detroit, but
Yeah.
inside was cold. So then that was pretty cold, and then we left that house, and then that house we moved to a house that was built, I think, built in the '60s. It was warmer, but it wasn't double glazed, but it wasn't central heating type warm. So yeah, it was okay. It was better, and then now I live in a new build townhouse, which is, double glazed and insulated, so better, but still not the central
Oh,
heating, but better than the first house. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the housing, as you probably tell people, I'd probably tell it's different. So my advice is if you want to be guaranteed to be warm, try to go for a new build.
Yeah.
If you're renting, just you may not get the character of an older house, but the older house characters, they're gonna be cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
No
they're not properly
insulation.
glazed, if they're double glazed and insulated, it's gonna be chilly.
I know. I sometimes if I stand at our windows and I'm just like, I can feel the breeze coming in. Um, they're just so thin. Yeah, that's what I always say. It was like I've come from such a cold area, but I've never been colder than I have in a Christchurch house.
Same here.
Yeah.
The Yeah, the second bedroom, our first house, it was freezing. I mean, I've never been that cold in a house in my entire life, and I grew up in an older house in Detroit, and no, can't even
Mm,
compare the 2.
yeah, it's funny. Um, okay. So I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything that you think our listeners would like to hear about your journey in living here?
Yeah, I wrote a
Oh,
few
yay.
things down. I would probably say the biggest thing coming over here is the culture. Even though it's Western culture, it's still a different culture, and there's some solid differences. And it probably took me a while to get used to it. The most probably was just how Kiwis are a little bit different. Uh, they're just a little bit quieter. Just different culture. It's not.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it just takes a while. Just you just have to adapt to the culture. Kiwis are nice, and
Yeah.
for the most part, pretty nice, and they really don't put their, for my opinion, they don't put their beliefs onto you.
Oh,
If you don't
right.
bother them, they
Yeah.
don't bother you. So kind of they keep to themselves. So, but very friendly people. It will help you and things of that nature. So just solid differences in the culture. It just takes a little bit of time to get it. So
Yeah, I
everyone's journey
find
is
that
different. It just takes a little while to get used to it.
yeah, they really do, like, they're just kind of like, "You do you, and we'll do
Exactly.
us," and they don't really care yeah, like, what your preferences are or even, like, your political beliefs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of like, I have a friend and, they're, like, in the gay community and stuff, and they like, there's, like, no pride parades, there's no, like, big pride or like rainbow community here, but it's
Mhm.
not I mean like it's not like it's like not easy for them to find,
Mhm.
but no one cares. Like they're just I don't know, they're explaining it to me like they don't feel like not welcome or anything like that. They definitely feel welcomed, but that's just like not part of no one cares.
Yeah.
So then there's no big like pomp and circumstance and celebrations and um like big meetings and I guess
Yeah.
kind of thing. They just find them probably on the apps and
Mhm.
social media and stuff and they just find their people kind of like quietly. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of agree with that, and I think just being American and then obviously being a, Black American, but then American, I don't think they don't make a big deal about it. I mean, they're used to
Yeah.
hearing the American accent, so it's not like a few times I moved here, people would ask, "Oh, where you from?" Or sometimes I
Yeah.
used to get maybe I first moved here, maybe my accent was stronger back then, but I don't get that hardly ever anymore now. People really don't ask where I'm
No one's
from
been
or
mean to you, right?
no,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard stories of, like my ex is she's from Chinese descent and she grew up in Christchurch, the 90s and 80s. I mean, 90s and the 2000s. So she
Yeah.
experienced some things, but I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, Christchurch did have kind of reputation. I wouldn't necessarily. It's not like a New Zealand thing. It's just there's bigoted people everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's not like. But personally, no, I haven't. I heard stories. Some of my coworkers, ex-coworkers, experienced some things, but their experience, I've heard that back in the states. So it's
Yeah.
not. It's no
Yeah.
different. But no, I haven't experienced anything. Like you said, Kiwis kind of leave you alone. They don't really make a fuss about you being who you are. I mean, being American, I believe, does help. Having the accent does help. I mean, English is our first language, so
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
if any person came from another English-speaking country, you can have an easier time adapting because people can. You sound different, but they can still pick up what you're saying. So, no, I
Yeah.
haven't had any issues.
Y yeah. Yeah, I've definitely heard local people say, like, unkind thing about people who English isn't their first language, and I'm like, "That's just an understanding problem, but
Yeah.
also be kind," and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just yeah, unfortunate, but as you said, like, that happens everywhere, it's
That
not
happens in the States.
specific.
That happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not a New Zealand thing. It's anywhere in the world. But overall, I haven't had any issues. People have been pretty. Again, Kiwis just keep to themselves, like you just said. That you do you. And when it
Yeah.
comes to the political side, like you vote who you want to vote for. They don't.
I couldn't believe one of the places that I worked and the partners of this big organization here and like, the leadership people were posting on LinkedIn like who they were voting for. And, and proudly no and it was just everywhere over LinkedIn, people were like saying who they're voting for in the last election. And I was like, doesn't this hurt their business? Like, I don't know, can they do that? And some people like locals were like, well, like, people from that industry are just everyone knows they vote for the for the nationals anyway. Like,
Yeah.
everyone just knows that, so it's like they own it and they don't care. Like,
Yes.
we certain industries, like farmers,
Yeah.
lawyers, like, certain things just vote national, which is the more conservative of our 2 main parties. Um, and so I'm like, "Okay." But I was just
Yeah.
like, people just own it and they don't care, and, like, even the head of HR at a very like, one of South Island's biggest employers
Mhm.
asked me point blank who I was voting for. And I said, "I don't think you can do that."
Yeah.
But you can here in
Yeah.
New Zealand. And so that's just something, I guess, yeah, people aren't as rattled by things like that, I guess, yeah.
No, you're not gonna like I've my 11 years living here. Personally, I've never experienced pe- two people arguing about who they're gonna vote for. Because I feel like I've seen people who were born and raised here, or people who are allowed to vote, permanent residents. They bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
So sometimes they
Yeah,
vote
yeah, yeah.
Labor, sometimes they vote National, the two big parties, and then sometimes they vote for smaller parties.
Yeah, I
So
love all the smaller parties, just
yeah,
brings a little more flavor to it and options and choices, yeah.
same here. I like it too. Yeah,
Because, yeah, back home, like, most people don't actually identify with our only parties, like, that's really hard for people to tick into 2 boxes, and so that's what's nice here, yeah, go down the ballot, and the fact that I was allowed to vote just by living here, I wasn't anything. I wasn't
yeah.
a permanent resident, I wasn't a citizen, I was allowed to vote, but I remember getting the ballot information and, like, going through it, and I was, like, looking up every party out of curiosity,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many." Um, yeah. So, okay, anything else that you wanted to tell
No,
us?
I would just say that if people, looking to move here, obviously just most people they do a lot of research. They read about New Zealand and where they want to move to and different parts of the country. So I would just say people do that and also reach out to the some of the Facebook pages because
Yeah.
this will I mean, other than the tax information, there's some good information people will answer back. You know, if you have a
Yeah.
question about schools or what neighborhood, there's some good information. The tax stuff, maybe take that for a grain of salt sometimes, but other
Oh,
things,
yeah, yeah,
um, you can if you put join some of those Facebook groups,
yeah.
and then there's a lot of people who will answer back who will give their opinion, and then you can just take it for what it's worth. And yeah,
Do you, a lot of Americans ask about healthcare and stuff.
Mhm.
Do you have private insurance here, or do you just use the, government scheme?
I have private. I have Southern Cross through
Okay.
work, so
Yeah.
I have myself and my, 2 kids, so it's good. I mean, it helps with the dental. I mean, I've been very lucky because I've been pretty healthy, so I haven't had to really use it that much other than dental and vision. But it's good to have just in case something happens because, you don't have to wait or anything. You can go straight to like, if you need surgery or something or to get examined or something, you get priority because you have private health insurance, so if you can afford it and you if offered, I it does cost, but it's good to have, I believe. You don't
Okay.
need it. I mean, some people will say you don't really need it, but I like to have it.
Yeah.
It's just a good
Yeah.
option to have if it's there and if it's within your budget, it's good to have, I believe.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's not as expensive as health insurance in the US would be, but also if you don't have it, you'll be okay as
Yeah,
well.
you're okay. Yeah, it's not you don't necessarily need it. Again, it's a good thing to have if you want it and it's
Yeah.
within your budget, but if it's not within your budget, you don't have to have it, and you still gonna get the services that we all entitled to here, so
Yeah, that's good. And that is something that's good about being here, having that. Um, the access to healthcare and just different public systems. Um,
yeah, I would say that's a good thing because if something happens, you get an accident or you do get sick, you don't have to go bankrupt and pay for a huge sum of bills, and I had a friend, he had cancer, and he had surgery, and that and he had to pay for anything, so because it was, public health, and he had so it helped him. In the States, it'd have been very, very, very expensive for him, but here it's different. So, that's a good thing to have just in case something does go wrong. It's great to have the public health system. It's not perfect, but nothing's perfect, but it's good to have.
yeah.
Yeah.
And something with the ACC scheme, which is like if you have an accident and not just an accident at work, but even if even if I was out
Skiing, playing
skiing,
basketball.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and broke my leg and then couldn't go to work, then they pay your missed work wages as well.
Yes.
Which in the US, that if you hurt yourself on your own time, like not at work, if you got hurt, in your own yard doing whatever, um, your wages are not covered unless you have some other special insurance to cover that, but a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten hurt, knock on wood.
Yeah,
Um,
same here. And
but I know
also
people who have, and that's
yeah,
been helpful.
yeah. And also too, if you have people are moving here with younger children, as soon your child turns 3, the government pays 20 hours for, daycare, which is
Oh, really?
which is a game changer, yes. So your child turns 3, everyone's entitled to it regardless of income level.
20 hours of free
Yeah,
childcare until they
yeah.
go to school at 5?
Until 5, yeah. And so then everyone an advantage here too is as soon as your child turns 5, they're eligible to start school. Doesn't matter when within the school term or terms, it doesn't really matter. The school could be almost over with and your child's still entitled. So it's good. And then you save money there too. So then uh even if the school started, because school starts here in February, so if your child turns 5 in August, they can start then, and so then you don't have to pay any more childcare. So then your child's entitled to start school as soon as they turn 5. So that's a good thing.
Whoa.
But you
Yeah,
do get 20 hours free after they turn 3.
okay, but nothing between birth and
No.
3.
I mean, some places do offer I mean, you have to do the research, but for
Yeah,
the most part, at 3,
yeah.
that's like a game changer. As soon as they turn 3, then they get to 20 hours.
That's
Um,
cool. And then, also you did have one child here, and so having kids here, like the birth process and prenatal, that's all
yeah,
free.
I'm glad you mentioned that because my before we go, yeah, the difference in price. So my wife at the time had a C-section, and I think she was in hospital for a few days, and the bill was like the bill. I mean, without insurance, like $50,000,
Yeah.
50K.
Oh,
But our second son was born. She had a home birth, and she had a midwife and all that stuff, and only thing we had to pay was $50 for the birthing pool liner.
yeah.
50, just $50.
But even, I had my
And all
second
the
one at home too, but it was still, like, even in the US within it was, like, $3,500. Um, but yeah, but even if she'd had, like, another C-section in New Zealand, that would've been
would have been
free.
it would have been free, yes.
Yeah.
All have been free. And all the midwife, all the pre was free, and then the post, 'cause they come check
Yeah.
on the baby every few weeks. That's all free, taken care of.
And they
So
come to your
that's a
house.
you come to your house, yes. So they
Yeah.
do home visits, so you do not have to leave your house, and they come to your house, and that's good. And then, yeah, that was much cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like how they have that kinda continued care as well,
Yes.
that I've heard about that. That's really cool.
Yes.
Um, okay, well, that is a big selling point for young families, I would think. People who are still yeah, and even the maternity coverage at a lot of organizations is quite good, you get a
Yeah,
longer time
your
off.
job's protected for a year. I've had a few coworkers that have had, uh, babies, and they've been off for almost a year, and they come back. So
Yeah.
your job is protected for a year. They just well, company I work for, they just hire someone. Either move someone around or they'll hire a casual person for the year to cover, but your job's protected for an entire year.
Yeah. I actually see roles all the time, and it says maternity
Exactly.
coverage for, like, 9 months or 12 months or whatever the person has said they wanna take, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I might have even done one of those before. It might have been a maternity cover.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say, yeah, for the listeners, especially Christchurch is a good place to be and up and coming city. And just in closing, New Zealand is a good place to be. Like I said, a little bit different culture, but it's still Western culture, and you just learn how to adapt, and you just find some friends and Kiwi friends or international friends, and it's a good place to raise kids too. Pretty laid back and pretty safe too. That's the only thing you have to be worried because my kids here, they just run. You don't have to watch them like a hawk like you do in the States. That's probably the last closing big difference. Here,
Yeah.
kids kind of run around a little bit. You can, but at home you have to watch them. But here, you see kids scooting to school like 5 years old, like little kids,
Oh, yeah. I
5 and
see,
6.
like, miniatures, like,
Yeah, minis.
small, small kids just scooting to school sometimes, and I'm like
Yeah,
it still makes me look because 'cause I'm like, "Where's your parent?" But then I'm like,
same
"No,
here. I'm
no,
like,
no."
I tell my partner, she's Australian. Like, you would never see that in the States. You would never see a 5-year-old scooting to school by himself.
Yeah.
Very
But
rarely to see that in the States.
But then I do have a friend that moved down here from Auckland recently, and she
Mhm.
was actually horrified by that.
Yeah,
So
maybe it's a
she
Christchurch thing. Yeah, if it's
yeah,
smaller.
or maybe smaller, like, maybe like Invercargill and other like
Yeah,
smaller cities. But she like is like still walking her like 10-year-old to school, like, and that's from her from being in Auckland, like, she just
yeah,
can't yeah, so maybe in time she'll get comfortable with that,
yeah,
but I thought that was interesting because she brought after living in Auckland her whole life, she just brought a different perspective to me,
yeah.
um, about
And Auckland is bigger.
they just had a lot more crime and stuff up there,
Yeah,
yeah,
more people. I mean, more people
yeah.
gonna be, more overall. There's gonna be some problems, some issues, but yeah, that is true.
Well, thank you, Carl, for joining, and I will be seeing you at the USA soccer game tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, I booked some tables for at least 12 people, so I'll be there with my kids.
Oh, nice.
USA, Belgium. You see our best player can play now. They, suspended his red card for a
Oh,
year.
good.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
good. How did they just fight for
well,
that
FIFA
or
stepped in, which I mean, I'm no soccer, football expert, but I guess
yeah.
they made a it's I mean, yeah, they stepped in and did it. I've been following some people on ESPN. It says kind of unprecedented that they did it, but it is what it
Okay.
is, right?
Okay, well, hopefully we're gonna witness another win tomorrow.
Hope so. I have my flag and my lucky T-shirt. I've worn it for both games that I've watched. So we won, so I have to keep wearing it.
I heard this today and it was on social media, and I think the idea of it came from someone named Kiernan Tarafa. And I did edit it a little bit, but I just wanted to read it for those thinking to move here or those who already have can relate to it. When you move abroad, no one tells you about the hardest goodbyes. Not just goodbye to your friends, your family, your house, your country. Those aren't the hardest goodbyes. You also say bye to your belonging, knowing where you fit in even without thinking about it. You say bye to your competence and being the person who knows how things work. Suddenly, you can't find things in a grocery store or anywhere in your new city without feeling like a child. You say goodbye to your confidence. You say goodbye to the future you imagined, one close to your home. Slowly, you say goodbye to yourself, the version of you that everyone back home still thinks you are. For a while, you don't know who you are, perhaps, and you relearn what you value. No one knows your history and that part can be hard. Harder than anyone tells you before you go. Every goodbye made room for something new. Every loss reshaped you, something you couldn't have become any other way. You didn't lose yourself abroad, but you found a new version of yourself on the other side of all those goodbyes.